The Hollywood writers have been on strike for over 4 months now, and it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. And some of their support that they had been getting from the Hollywood elites, the people in the entertainment industry, that is starting to crumble right now. Bill Maher, just about a week ago, caught a little bit of flack for comments he made on a podcast, basically saying, I feel for the writers, but a lot of them feel like they're so entitled to something, and this is show business. You either make it or you don't. Well, now Bill Maher is under fire once again because he's decided to start his show back up, which hasn't aired in 4 months, but this time he's going to do it without writers. And this should be the biggest fear for these writers out there, that they don't realize what they've done to themselves by taking them out of the situation for 4 months, by shutting things down for 4 months, and having no public support for their strikes because, quite frankly, the audience doesn't give a shit about them. Now you're starting to see shows come back, not with different writers, just with no writers whatsoever. HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher to return to air without writers, and Bill Maher is one of the people that's doing that. Now, don't forget, just a few days ago, we talked about Drew Barrymore making this announcement. Drew Barrymore said, hey, we're going to bring the show back. We're not going to violate some of these WGA rules, but we have to get back to recording shows. She caught an avalanche of hate for that and has even had different things canceled because of that, because people are so upset that she broke the unwritten rules of the strike. Drew Barrymore gets booted from award show hosting gig amid strike backlash. Well, I guess we'll see what happens to Bill Maher after this announcement. Bill Maher's going back to work without his writers. The comedian said on social media Wednesday that Real Time with Bill Maher will return to HBO. The show will be back with an original episode on Friday, September 22nd at 10 p.m. Maher becomes the first late-night host to return to air, although if Strike Force 5 podcasts by Colbert, Fallon, Kimmel, Mahers, and Oliver's any indication, they will not be joining him anytime soon. It's a controversial move, given his show's written by a team of late-night writers who are currently in the 4th month of their strike. Other talk show hosts like Drew Barrymore have faced ire from the writers. They picketed it, all of that shit. But let's look at what Bill Maher says. Real Time's coming back. Unfortunately, sans writers or writing. It's been 5 months, and it's time to bring people back to work. This is a good point. I despise Bill Maher when it comes to a lot of things. I think he's got some decent takes here and there, but overall, I have no love for this guy whatsoever. But he has a very good point here when it comes to all the other people that are out of work because of the writers right now. The writers have important issues that I sympathize with and hope they're addressed to their satisfaction, but they're not the only people with issues, problems, and concerns. Despite some assistance from me, much of the staff is struggling mightily. We're all hopeful this would come to an end after Labor Day, but that day's come and gone, and there still seems to be nothing happening. I love my writers. I'm one of them, but I'm not prepared to lose an entire year and see so many below-the-line people suffer so much. I'll honor the spirit of the strike by not doing a monologue, desk piece, new rules, or editorial, the written pieces that I'm so proud of. And I'll say up front to the audience, the show I'll be doing without my writers will not be as good as our normal show, full stop. But the heart of the show is an off-the-cuff panel discussion that aims to cut through the bullshit and predictable partisanship, and that will continue. The show will not disappoint. Whether what he does cuts through the bullshit and the partisanship, that is certainly up for debate. But there it is. Bill Maher saying, hey, we're coming back without writers. I think this is going to start an avalanche, and Bill Maher is catching a lot of heat for this. You saw Discussing Film tweet out, Bill Maher's opted to be a scab and bring back his talk show, despite his writers still being on strike while the studios refuse to pay them fairly. Fairly certainly a relative term, isn't it? And you got a lot of people commenting, his true colors came out. Why do this when your writers are striking? Just an awful person. Of course he is. Based on his recent comments about writers, I'm not surprised. This surprises me none. I'm more surprised he waited till now. No amount of writers could possibly make him likable. Hey, I mean, don't disagree with that. Can't wait for him to call his writers lazy for not working for scraps, and you're seeing a lot of this stuff, right? A lot of the people that are supporting the strike are very, very mad at Bill Maher, just like they're very mad at Drew Barrymore. It sounds like they're going to picket the show. It sounds like the WGA is going to be out there and protesting. But regardless, Bill Maher is going back to work. He's starting to show up without the writers. Certainly everyone's going to look at these comments he made about a week ago. Let me get this quote for you. They're asking for a lot of things that are like kooky. He's talking about his writers. What I find objectionable about the philosophy of the strike is it seems to be they have really morphed a long way from 2007 strike, where they kind of believe you're owed a living as a writer and you're not. This is show business. This is a make or miss league. So Bill Maher under heavy fire for starting his show back up and trying to get people back to work without his writers. Like I said, they don't have the public side in this. The public, quite frankly, doesn't care. That's why these people are probably quick to get back now that they realize this. They realize people have moved on to watching podcasts or whatever, replacing their entertainment because they don't need these writers and they don't need these shows. More of this will be happening. There'll be backlash, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop people from wanting to get back to work. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.